Round 7 results, a very crazy week it was, and somehow still managed to go up ranks again. So I think this is where team value is really starting to shine through and getting these emergencies right. I didn't get it perfect with Katoa, having him in the 6 jersey, just because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with trades. And thankfully, I did end up holding trades until the end of the round, which I explained in that previous video, allowed me to do a couple of things that I wanted to, which was good. But yeah, still making decent ranks now. I end up at 723 overall now, which is great, considering, as I said, after round 2, 34,000, and have improved my rank each and every week since. And yeah, we'll see in our rankings one here that 6-4-5-1. So I'm only 262 points away from first overall, and squad value isn't too crazy different as well. 12.9. For the winner there currently, 12.77, 12.9, 13, 12.9. There's a lot of 12 8s and 9s there in that top 10. So really not too far away from all that. And if you do really well through the buy period, anything can happen. Like I'm super in the hunt for first overall. If you're ranked 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 there, and you're sort of down about that 6,000 mark in total points, let's say that, anywhere between that and me, you're still less than 500 points away. And after 3 rounds last year, we were already 500 points behind. So this is great news for everyone watching this, and that is having not their best season, but they're still doing okay. So yeah, back to my team there, 809 this week, and the ranking there, 6,569 for round 7, shows that it was a very tough round. But a lot of teams so I made 260 ranks. A lot of teams sort of behind me kind of did solidly. Like a fair way behind me did solidly, maybe 830s, 840s, 850s, but there weren't a heap that were in front of me that did better than that. So that's good news. If you probably saw, if you're somewhere around that 500 ranked all the way through to about 5,000, if you scored anywhere near 800, you would have made some ranks this week, which is pretty cool. So Robson had a shocker. Still didn't give him his tackle break, so I'm very annoyed at that still, but is what it is. We'll take it and move on. He'll be better, which is great. I traded in Tedesco. He'll be better. I missed out on, I didn't have Walshy, I didn't have Bird, and I still made ranks. So great news overall there. Suoli, I was very lucky enough to have decided to loop him instead. So I popped him in the 5 position. And I was kind of waiting on team lists for Zach Hosking, waiting on team lists for this one here with the Roosters, and making sure Tedesco is going to play. And I decided, I went, all right, Suoli, go in the 5. If something really bad happens, I can just play Warbrick, or I could trade Warbrick. I could try and get, Walshy another way. Like I had Hopgood to remove and these types of guys. So decided to hold pat. Thankfully, not thankfully, but still he went really poor. I played Warbrick and he got 38. So that worked out great there. I then decided obviously to play Alamotti as well. So 38 and 32 between them. Couldn't have asked for much more. They beat out Miller. Warbrick beat out Tedesco. So overall that worked out okay there. Johnson didn't have his best game. Cleary didn't have his best game either. Murray was pretty average, but that worked out as a pretty high score this week. Overall, this week was a bit of a shocker, and still managed to gain ranks. So that's really positive in this one. Hosking shows how important he's been. He's already up, sort of 150k since we've popped him in our side, which is great. Hopgood, I decided to hold him. So if you listened to the last video, Hopgood to Moses was my play. Would have netted me 11 points, but instead, with Cartwright moving to the bench, Hopgood in the starting side, I went for Cartwright to Brown, which netted me 19 extra points, and it would have been him or Penasini. Unfortunately, went for Brownie, but he'll be fine as well. So he's having a bit of a low start to the season. And, there's really the biggest thing for me now is just having no killer centers and wing fullbacks. Teddy will be better coming up against a lesser side. A lot of these guys will improve, but what do I do in this center position? Hopefully Lemuelu continues to be named in that spot, especially with Kenny Bromwich likely to be out. We'll find out either tonight or tomorrow with Judiciary as to what he's going to do. I think he's facing 2 to 3 weeks on the sidelines with his grade 2 tackle. I can't remember exactly what the tackle was, but lifting tackle? I'm not sure. Anyway, but yeah, so we're going to work out the centers. We're going to work out the fullbacks. Suoli, what we do with him is a bit of a head scratcher. Using that trade from Cartwright to Brownie there left me with only 3k available. So that's what I'm dealing with at the moment. I think I'm going to move on from one of my edges, whether it's Preston, whether it's Katoa. I think Liero, is making money at the moment, and I think one more week of him making cash, and then either hold him or move him on. Like if you look at our edges now, holding Hopgood helps out with that position there. I've got 4 middles. I have 4 edges. So that's that. When you've only got 5 spots and you have 8 in total, means I could probably get rid of 1 or 2. And especially going to 13 guys, you can only play your starting side. So having 4 edges is going to be a bit of a pain, especially if you're looking at these guys here. Hopgood plays in round 13, so he's going to be pretty important now. Preston does not, Hosking does not, Lioro and Katoa both don't play either. So at this point, I have no edges coming into round 13. So I do have to make changes here, and you will have to as well. Suoli'i down to 477. I don't even know if he's a trade now. You look at their fixtures coming up, and Teddy and Suoli'i there. And they've got some easier games coming up. It's Dragons this week, and then it just gets easier and easier from that point. I'll wait till that pops up there, but their fixtures coming up, it's the Dragons, and then it is Warriors, Cowboys. So those next 3 are going to be pretty cool. And then Panthers in round 11, Dragons in round 12. So really, at 477, he's priced so low. He's priced in the low 30s now. And really, do you think he can score better than that? I think he probably can. So really, with that dual position there, I'm looking at like him or Hammer, or it's really hard to be able to get up to some of these top guns. So maybe I'm going to have to downgrade someone to then get up to like a Bird or a Walsh or these types of players, or I can straight swap one of these edges to a Hammer, who very happy to see for those that own him that a 32 in a game where they get beat pretty comfortably is kind of his floor, and he almost scored a try. So looks like he's just so dangerous and showing similar signs to that of Reece Walsh at the moment. So I'm still not exactly sure what I'm going to do here, but moves definitely have to continue to be made. I saved 1 trade this week, so I'm down to 26, I believe. So most people that have full traded, I think, are down at 24. Is that right? So I definitely saved. I think I've saved 1 the last 3 weeks, maybe the last 4 weeks. We'll see. I can't remember what max trade is. We started with 34, and down from there. So you got 3 this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 there. You can make it 13. You can make. Okay, so I've saved 3, which is cool. It's a good result. We'll take that for sure. But yeah, that's where the team's at the moment. Let me know your general thoughts on where I'm at and what you would do. Ben Murdoch-Masila not playing is a bit of a pain in the ass. So we've got Talau. Potentially will be back this week. Murdoch-Masila down at 277. And then cheapies, my lowest cheapie from there is Katoa, and he's making money. So good across the board. With this amount of good players in the side, we can chop and change things a bit. We can move things around and make sure that we have all positions covered. I still don't have hooker cover, and I'm sitting there with enough center wing cover at the moment, but do need to make some upgrades there. So very interesting how I'm going to do this. I think edge is going to come down to one of that position or into the hooker position is just a wreck at the moment. So let's just hold on to Robson there and see what happens. So in terms of leagues at the moment, I'm sitting at 10th in my private group, 114th in my full NRL fantasy community, winning head-to-heads. So that was good. I end up sneaking this one over Den here by 9 points. I won my Gargarov one against Teddy Zarusta, 809 versus 734. Beat Gumby, so he's ranked ahead of me, and that worked out well this week that I picked him up by 30, and then had Dent in the other one as well. So in the top 8 in all my head-to-heads, which is good. Battle of the Podcast, we're down into 6th position, which keeps us in the same spot. So good rounds for Mark again, who's ranked in a good position overall at 91st. So congrats to the NRL Fantasy Amateur boys who are killing it there. Rob, is it Intern Rob? I'm not sure. But 410 ranked for him. Both solid scores, nothing crazy, but Mark beat me by 2. I've got Mark by a few, but Ryan had a cracker there. The Cranbrook Cubs there with 842, ranked 193, and Callum from the 3 Blokes doing great, and Christopher Rogue Waldo, he's got me by 1 point, and he is at 713, and I'm at 723, so 10 ranks separating 1 point, which is crazy to see, as I said, and plenty going on in around that, and how close they are as to how many ranks change week to week. If you look in there, Scoop got 797. We'll speak about his team when we do our video. And then we go on from there. We've got Chris and Eddie had a bit of a shocker at 740. Unfortunately, you got Jake in there. TK had the biggest score out of all the boys there, 856. So he makes his charge back. He's down in the 4,000s now, I believe. Yeah, 4,073. A good improvement for him with Cleary not dominating. So he had Hines as captain, whereas we all had Cleary, and showed last week that was the way to go. And this week it didn't work out as well. But that's it with the main guys that I know personally. You got Corby there with an 800, so an okay score from him. That is the Battle of the Podcast. Let's move on to overall ranking. So As I said there, we've got squad values up top there, 12.9, the 12.7s and the like. Dion had a solid week up top and is only just ahead by 5 points. So really, it's pretty close up top, separating the top 10 by about 50 points, just less than 45 points there. So Dion had a solid one at 8.10, so only beat me by 1, which we'll take for sure in this pretty poor week. Grade there with 36. You're looking at the bench there. Played Sonny Luke over, looping Katoa, which didn't end up matter because all the guys played anyway. So that's that. Couldn't loop anyway. So missed out on a few points from Warbrick and Katoa with Sonny Luke in that one, 23. Burton only 39, wasn't his strongest point. Has Tedesco, so has Walsh as well. So a solid one here. One good scorer there. Fafita really helped as well. Haas and Murray did their job. Cleary as captain there. And Johnson, not as good this week as previous. And then our number 2 position, Grant has a little bit of a different squad there. Has Tanner Boyd in that one. Grant as well. Jack Bird, Walsh. So 2 big winners there, which ended up getting him 801. But it's had some low ones. Ended up playing Couchman over Sloan, Katoa, Khan-Pereira, and Alamotti. So just a tough one with selecting interchanges, which kind of helped us that both of those top 2 guys struggled with their interchange picking in this one. It shows that everyone can't get it right. Even the top guys get a little bit unlucky or choose wrong. It's the same as our teams there. 784 for number 3. So as I said, none of these top guys really pulled away and no one came from below into those top positions. So good news for us, having one of those. You probably needed 2 of those really good guys down below to do well here. And again, had some low ones with Josh King and the like there. But, Talau, Blore, Nikarima, and Katoa sitting there in the buy position there. So, again, strange that they didn't decide to loop Katoa. I don't know why with this bench that Katoa wasn't in the 5 position. Seems really silly to me. Maybe that's, it was Nikarima that they wanted to loop instead and just decided not to. But, I think that's probably how they chose it, actually. Nikarima instead in that one. But that's that. It's really interesting how it's all playing out at the moment. As I said, no one's really pulling away up top, which is great news for us that are trying to catch up. That's for sure. I guess the Jamie Brown fan club. Big shout out to the guys in the private group. AOB's still doing well in there. 798 wasn't his best score, but 36 overall. We got Ryan in there at 39th as well, so they're very close now. Matt went backwards a little bit at 287. You've got Sammy, Phil, Fantasy Phil there. We got Vinny, Liam, Junior Mac there, and Johnny. So a nice big week from Johnny and Vinny there, 820 and 814. And really, I'm 10th, guys, and I'm sitting at 723, which shows we have 10 guys in the top 723 out of 100, which is pretty cool, and hopefully we can continue to improve as a squad from there. So now we are here. Let's move on to the lovely People Squad, who had a good week as well. That was a pretty good score for the People Squad, as I said. They're 824 in this one. Overall rank of 3,010 now. So very, very good on that front. As I said, a strong week overall. And looking at the squad, we brought in Madison. It was for Hobgood, so that was a little bit of it wasn't a loss exactly, but probably wasn't exactly worth the trade that we just decided to make it and lock that in early in the week. But a 57 for him was a big win there. You're looking at interchange straight up, 43, 53, 39, 47 was great there. Carrigan just not performing like we'd hope, and he could potentially be our first trade out of the week. Katoa not as good, but centers and wing fullback solid there with Walshy's 57. Lem and Alamotti doing their job. Playing Warbrick as well has worked out for us this week. Katoa had him in the 7, and we're going to loop Couchman at the 5 is why we had him there. Again, probably should have just went Katoa given he was earlier on in the week, but it wasn't to be, and didn't matter as our interchange guys all did better than the 40, except for 40 with the 39. So where the team's looking at the moment, 26 trades in the bank remaining, and 13k is available to us. So as I said, Carrigan just not performing as well as we would have liked, and he could be one of those guys that we use his cash to potentially pick up a good center or a good wing fullback. We're looking at our bench there with a couple of edge covers guys. We have our middle cover guy in 40. We probably have to bring in a middle as well, just to shore up that position if we are getting rid of Carrigan. It could be a edge and a middle to get another middle forward and a center or a winger. Could be the play this week. In terms of our bench and where that's sitting, Couchman bringing him in. Thankfully, he's at 330, so you could actually trade him out eventually. But you're hoping for a bit of a bounce get back game. It's not all doom and gloom for Couchman. He could definitely improve from here and get more minutes. And you look at that team and that game on the weekend, he just had an absolute shocker for minutes, whereas every other game he's played more than that. So if he's named in the team again, which you probably hope so, he can get some more minutes, and maybe DeBellin or Birdie or the like there don't get those big 80, and everyone else doesn't get 50 plus and leaves nothing for Couchy there. Especially when Josh Kerr was someone that he was always playing more minutes than, and then he didn't this week. So just a shocker with Couch. Nikorima, a better game, but still not great. 245 is his price, and that's not ideal at all. And Murdoch Masila not playing. So we definitely have some issues here on the emergency section. Katoa doing well. Really happy with Bird's output there. He's 47, and he's going to be a great cover guy between the hooker and that half position. But yeah, I think in this team, if I'm looking at it directly here, mids will need a tiny bit of work with Carrigan and deciding what we're going to do with him. And I think it's centre and wing fullback that we could upgrade from. Brought in Walshy, and that's worked out great the last bunch of weeks. Great trading, guys. Really great effort. But Alamotti and Warbrick, potentially Lemuelu are the slight worries in the squad, and we'll have to make some decisions on them going forward. Hopefully Lem is fine, especially with Kenny Brahman not playing, hopefully, which will work for him, but hopefully for the Dolphins' sake he does play. But yeah, that's that. Johnson Cleary's going to be fine. They had lower games as well. Grant has been good overall. And yeah, I think with this squad here, given we have Grant, Lioro there, Katoa, and Warbrick, we do have to make some decisions with Storm guys this week and next week. I think you probably only want 2, potentially 3 max in that type of position. If we're holding Warbrick there and not bringing in a wing fullback, then we're going to have troubles next week. So we definitely need to sort out that position this week or next. And look at our hooking position as well, because when Grant's out, what are we going to do? We have Boyd that can come in and do it. So is that fine? Most likely, that's going to be fine for that 1 week. But what's going to happen in the edge position? Do you want all of that cash, Grant, Katoa, Lil Rose sitting on the emergencies there and not playing that week, especially when we've got Murdoch Masila who's not playing? That leaves 4. And then are you happy to play Couchman or Nikorima? Probably not. Are you happy to play Alamotti, Warbrick, Couchman, Nikorima? Or do you make some changes this week and sort that out? Big questions around the People squad. Can't wait to solve them. Sitting overall in a good position now, 3,000. We're having a bit of a shocker. We've improved things. We've saved some trades and doing a good job. So well done, team, in the Discord. If you want to get involved in making trades in the People squad, get in the Discord. Link is in the description for that. And thank you so much for watching along with these videos. I appreciate it each and every week. You guys are all legends.